Hi, everybody.
Thanks for watching.
All right. Hi, everybody. We are reaching on a Friday after quite a momentous week, and currently I'm filming this on the day after the election, the presidential election for the U.S. that just occurred, and I am quite sad and afraid and angry. I know I didn't do nearly enough in the campaign season, election season. I fell into the trap of sharing a lot of thoughts on social media, but I know I didn't have enough concrete action behind them. When I was watching the election coverage, I was at a babysitting job. The parents were actually away somewhere watching the election themselves, and it felt strange to be there by myself and just watching the TV and seeing slowly but surely, like, all of the odds flipped, not in my favor, from my personal wish for the country to not be governed by Donald Trump. Tears shed, and feeling like it's not often in my life, other than the moments when being a woman has affected how I've moved through the world and been treated and, either felt safe or unsafe. By and large, I'm a white woman. Middle class. I got to go to college. Like, I have quite a bit of privilege and don't usually feel very unsafe in the world. But I think I got a little glimpse into what some other folks experience on a daily basis. If you personally feel endangered by this future development, or if you want to be part of the justice and action movement to making sure that we take back justice for every person in this country, we will have some resources that we're going to talk about a little bit later and information down below that you can go to.
As the results were rolling in last night, it dawned on me that as upset as I was feeling, that was probably as upset as the pro-Trump electorate has been feeling this entire time. And inside the echo chamber that is my Facebook, it's been really evident that we have not understood what these people are feeling. And I think a lot of it can be attributed to call-out culture, which can be really dangerous. Mostly it's about labeling people as bigots or white supremacists or anti-Muslim or homophobic, and using those labels to write people off. What I'm essentially saying, to clarify, is a form of person-first rhetoric. In a similar way, that we don't say blind people, but rather we say people with blindness, or people living with low vision. We can also call out for example, white supremacy movement without defining one person as only a white supremacist. I do not tolerate intolerance, but there's a difference between vilifying a movement and vilifying a person. When people are disowned, the backlash can be really harmful. One of the commentators said a few months ago, what does the Midwestern white father say, or how does he feel when his son or daughter comes home from college and calls him a bigot? What does he do with his voice? Is there a way to move forward? Making sure that they feel heard and not discounted as deplorable. which is a really unfortunate word.
So this feels a little surreal. I was getting off the train yesterday. Many people starting their days out, a lot of hustle and bustle. And so the media was projecting this to be so huge. I think maybe a different kind of huge. You know, I get off the train and I see all of these people going about their days. And it was jarring. I feel like maybe it is indicative of how I would say both halves of America, all of America, has been ignoring people who share different views than they do. There is an article, I think it was written by somebody who grew up with family and friends in a community of people who were conservative and who were Trump supporters. And he himself used to identify as more conservative and has since moved to what we would define a liberal urban community. And kind of explained the reason why Donald Trump has gotten so far. It talks about the people who support Trump and that we have not tried to understand their point of view. Or maybe if we have, we've not tried hard enough. Basically, what strikes me after this is realizing how much I have taken for granted. And I think many people on both sides of the spectrum have kind of turned a blind eye to those around them who are different. And this election has given me some insight into how I can fight for myself and my own community, but the importance of fighting for the community at large. But I would just invite you to consider the opportunity to talk to maybe family members of yours. I would argue that every single one of us has family members who share political views that are different from ours. I would invite you to not discredit them and to ask why they feel that way, and hopefully to explain your point of view as well to them. And not to reach an agreement, but to try and reach an understanding. All we can do right now is try. And I think the more that we try to understand people who are different from us, the further we will come together as a community.
Just something I'll add at the end is, I'm not sure if everybody's read this parable about how we have each person, each human, has dark and light inside of us. It's like there's a wolf surrounding good and a wolf surrounding evil inside of us. And pretty much the one that ends up taking over, the one that we end up embodying, is the one that we feed. And just be mindful of which one you feed within yourself.
Take a quiet moment and sit with yourself and sit with others, even if you feel like their wolf is not welcome in your world.
Bye-bye, everybody.